So I hope that you feel warmly welcomed, that you have already met a few faces that you recognize while having coffee. I personally have very much looked forward to this conference day, so I hope that it will be a great day. For those of you who don't know me from before, my name is Silvia Kakembo, and I've been asked to be the moderator for this day. So I'm glad I will be here with you all of this day, trying to guide you through the day. And every day, in my normal work, I work at Arena Gruppen's PR and communications firm, Arena Opinion. But in this context, I would also call myself an alum of the Stockholm School of Economics. But I've also been at the Ministry of Finance, working as a policy advisor for the former Ministry of Finance, Magdalena Andersson. So this conference has been named New Economic Order, the future of progressive fiscal policy, and that name renders quite high expectations, I think myself at least. And I'm about to be joined by the initiators and brains behind this conference, Elinor Odeberg, who is chief economist at the think tank Arena Idé, and also Miss Philippa Sigl-Glöckner, who is director of the think tank Dezernat Zukunft. So please give them a warm hand. So please, Elinor, you're the main designer, I might say, behind this conference and this day. Can you give us some insight to why the think tank Arena Idé think that we must gather around these issues that we're going to talk about today?
Well, I'm personally extremely happy and grateful that we, thanks to Dezernat Zukunft, could gather you all here and listen to these amazing speakers and scientists and researchers. And for me, sort of the initiative comes from basically Europe, and Sweden has just had a sort of stagnating fiscal policy, stagnating growth. We have all these investment needs, we have the climate crisis, we have a lack of affordable housing, we have high unemployment, we have all these challenges, but we haven't really seen the systemic and broad fiscal policy that would be needed to actually tackle those challenges. And for the Swedes here today, the budget yesterday was a disappointment in this regard. We, again, today received news about the interest rate raising even more. For me, I think this is a way to sort of turn the page and see how can we actually shape a fiscal policy for the future.
Mm. And Philippa Sigl-Glöckner, I know that the two of you have a nice cooperation, but can you please tell us a bit about why your think tank, Dezernat Zukunft, has decided to invest so much in this conference for a Swedish audience?
Yeah, look, I think all of our future depends on Europe. We will only make this work, we'll only be able to preserve our values if we make Europe work. And as you said, Europe had pretty terrible stagnating time since the financial crisis. And I was working in international development before in Liberia and West Africa. And there, you know, we didn't have roads, we didn't have money, we didn't have anything. So you kind of expect it to be hard. And then you look to Europe, and Europe is wealthy. Europe has great structures. Europe has functioning democracies. And we're just destroying ourselves. And then you try and understand who that is. And it's partly, I think, my country that's done quite a bit of harm. And then you look into the context and who we look to for ideas and concepts and who's our role model. And we actually look to Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. So what we thought, if we want to change Europe, we need to do something in our own country, but we actually need to work with the partners in the countries that matter to us. We have this infamous Hanseatic League that, you know, tends to kind of block everything in Europe. And I think if you really want to get somewhere, we need to recreate the Hanseatic League.
Interesting. So, which similarities and differences do you see around the debate? As an introduction to going into today's topics and themes, which similarities and differences do you see around the debate of macroeconomic policy in our part of the world, I would say in Northern Europe and globally?
The global debate has become pretty diverse and pretty interesting. I think, you know, first with the financial crisis, we realized that a lot of things weren't working. Then I think outsiders looking at the European debt crisis were actually really scratching their head and thinking, oh, maybe macro is a little bit different from what we thought it would be. Maybe monetary systems matter a lot more than we thought. And then, I mean, in Europe, it depends a little bit on where you look at, but let's take our context. I think we sometimes get very much bogged down into the system that we've created and into the politics, and we don't dare to step back and think, oh, what's actually right? And I think that's what we all need to do.
Thank you. So, Elinor, what are we going to experience today? Can you mentally walk us through the day and the interesting topics on the agenda?
Well, we have, to begin with, a very interesting topic on the roots of central bank independence and there also democratic deficit, which I think is very relevant today with the interest rate hikes and whether that is even working. We will dig deeper into inflation and the roots of inflation. I'm very proud that we have both Orsetta Causa from the OECD and we have Isabella Weber, who is going to speak later today also on the roots on inflation, how to combat inflation with other means than just attacking demand and making ourselves poorer, essentially, which is also what my book and my book presentation at the end will be about. So I'm very excited. This is yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the day. I'm envious of you guys that just get to listen.
Also, thank you very much, Elinor Odeberg and Miss Philippa Sigl-Glöckner. We'll see more of you during today. So thank you.